No, ma'am. If we start, ma'am. Please start. I will inform you if any more.
Okay, I have follow academic कर लिया हम देखो.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
See, so nervous system, the spinal cord and the neural tracts. And today we will discuss about spinal cord. The spinal cord, you know that it is the part of central nervous system. It's situated inside the vertebral column. It's say somewhat a cylindrical structure. It's a cylindrical structure, and it is situated inside the vertebral canal, and it starts from it is actually a continuous with the brain. It is a continuous part of the brain. It starts from here, see, foramen magnum of the medulla oblongata. It starts from foramen magnum or foramen at the below the medulla oblongata, and it continues up to the L2 segment at the level of the
मैम आपका आवाज नहीं आ रहा है.
मैम आपका आवाज नहीं आ रहा है.
cylindrical structure starts from foramen magnum, situated inside the vertebral column, starts from foramen magnum, ends in the at the level of the L1 or L2 lumbar vertebra. Now, here there are two enlargements. One is at the cervical enlargement and another one is lumbar enlargement. From the cervical enlargement, nerves are supplying to the upper extremities, whereas from the lumbar enlargement, nerves are supplying to the lower extremities. Now, you see here, in this picture, you see the spinal cord here, it ends ends in the, let's go to the next, next figure, so that I could show you the end, how it ends. So its function is locomotion. First, spinal cord's function is locomotion, repetitive and coordinated actions of several muscle groups. Because see, for maintenance of posture, reflexes are important, and for the reflexes, the muscle group, the coordination of different muscle groups are very important. Because if you want to move your withdraw your arms from anywhere, so you have to contract your agonist muscle and relax your antagonist muscle. So these coordinated movements and how much contraction is to take place, that is controlled by spinal cord. That's why it helps in locomotion, repetitive and coordinated actions of skeletal muscle group. And also reflexes, we have already learned how it is the center for reflexes, somatic and say autonomic reflexes, and conduction of nerve impulse from the periphery to the central, and to the center to the brain, to the periphery. It's also conduct impulse. These are the functions. Those are two enlargements, say as the cervical and lumbar enlargement. Now here is, you look at this picture, you see here it ends in the L1 and L2 segment. It ends like a cone like structure. This spinal cord at the lumbar 1 and lumbar 2 segment, it ends like a cone like structure. This is called conus medullaris. This portion is called conus medullaris. From the conus medullaris, a non-filamentous structure extends from from here. It's a non-filamentous structures. This structure is called phylum terminally. This structure is called phylum terminally. Now, the nerves which are arising from the cervical and thoracic region, they are shorter in length. The nerves particularly from the cervical enlargement and also the cervical and thoracic region, they have short arm. But here in the lower, these fibers, these lumbar fibers, they are longer fibers. And as see, the spinal cord ends here in the conus medullaris. These long fibers, they move into the dural sac. Say, just proceed into the dural sac. So this branch of fibers, they looks like tail of horse. This is this. See, can you see this? Hello, students.
Yes, ma'am.
See, these long fiber-like structures, these end in the dural sac, and this branch of fibers that surrounds the phylum terminally, these are called cauda equina. This is called cauda equina. Okay, so this is the structure of the spinal cord. This is the structure of spinal cord. Now let's go to the previous slide first. Here you see in this picture, see here in this picture, this is the cauda. These are the cauda equina. This is phylum terminally, and here is conus medullaris. Now, regarding the segments of the spinal cord, those actually spinal cord is, we normally say the spinal cord has got 31 segments, but actually spinal cord is not segmentous. It's not it is not divided into segments. It's a cylindrical, continuous cylindrical structure. But the spinal nerves, which are arising at different level of the spinal cord, gives the appearance of segment. That's why we say the segments of spinal cord, which corresponds to the spinal nerves which are coming out of the spinal cord. So that's why the spinal cord correspond to 31 pairs of spinal nerves. 31 pairs of spinal nerves are arising from the spinal cord. So the number of segments are 31. Let's see, these are the 31 segments of spinal cord. So whenever you are asked how many spinal nerves are coming out, never say it's 31. It's not 31. 31 pairs of spinal nerves are coming out, whereas 31 coming out from 31 segments. And you know these segments are cervical segments, 8, thoracic segments, 12, give rise to thoracic spinal nerve, 12 pairs of thoracic spinal nerve. Here I have to add pairs. Sorry. It's not actually spinal nerves, 8 pairs, thoracic nerve, 12 pairs, lumbar segments, 5, and lumbar spinal nerves are 5 pairs. Sacral segment 5, and sacral nerves are 5 pairs, whereas coccygeal segment 1 and coccygeal spinal nerves are 1 pair. And you know about nerve root, there are 2 nerve roots. What are these 2 nerve roots? क्या क्या है nerve root?
Dorsal and ventral.
Dorsal nerve root and ventral nerve root. What do you mean by dorsal nerve root? Dorsal nerve root का meaning क्या है? Sensory nerve root. All the sensory nerves entering into the spinal cord through the dorsal root. And ventral nerve root is similarly motor nerve root. All the motor nerves are coming out of spinal cord from the anterior root or the anterior root. Now the spinal cords are named 31 pairs of spinal cord, but you know the vertebra, cervical vertebra is 7, but cervical spinal nerves are 8 spinal nerves. So their arrangement is like this. See the first cervical spinal nerves coming out from the foramen between the atlas and the occipital bone. I mean, that means above the atlas, above the first vertebra. The first cervical spinal nerves coming out from above the vertebra, from say C1 to C8. Now next, see here, C1 to C7 comes out above C1 to C7 vertebra. वो ऊपर से चलते, ओके, ऊपर वाला जो फोरामेन है वहां से निकालते C1 to C7. तो C8 below C7 vertebra से आते, below C7 vertebra से आते C8, and rest T1 to S5 वो below the vertebra. It's coming out from below the vertebra. Is it clear? ये देखो, this is C1. This is the atlas. The C1 spinal nerve is coming out above this. But this is the foramen. Between this is the atlas and this is the occipital bone. The foramen. This blue one is a nerve. This blue one. These are representing the nerves, and this one are the vertebra. C1 spinal nerve is coming out above C1 vertebra. The foramen between these two. Then up to C7. This is C7 vertebra. C7 nerve is coming above C. This is C7 vertebra, and this is the C7 nerve. So C nerve is above the vertebra, but C8 is coming below the C7 vertebra. As it comes below the vertebra, so T1 now is T. It is lower than T1 vertebra. This is T1 vertebra. T1 spinal nerve is coming below the T1. I think you know this. You have learned this in anatomy. So like this, all the vertebrae, I mean thoracic and lumbar and sacral vertebrae, they are, the below the vertebra. They come out the foramen below the vertebra. Now the spinal cord structure, if we see the structure, see this is the spinal cord. The structure of spinal cord coming, actually continues. It is continuous with the medulla oblongata, and it is say it's white this like white of a finger. It's like the white of a finger. The structure is S-shaped structure. Here you see is this what is this called? This part is called what? And what is this part?
lumbar vertebra.
Quadra equina.
This is cauda equina. It is not lumbar vertebra is not lumbar to upper yes sacral region. This is sacral region. Here this is called cauda equina. And this one it ends in cone shaped structure. This is lumbar region. So it is end in cone shaped structure. This cone shaped structure, spinal cord ends in cone shaped structure. This is called
Conus medullaris.
conus medullaris. And from conus medullaris, a non-nervous structure is extending. This is called, which is here it is shown because it is covered with this nerve fibers. This is called, it's a filament-like structure. So
Phylum terminalis.
terminalis, phylum terminalis. Got this? Now see the spinal nerves. If we consider the spinal nerves, here you see the spinal nerves are actually from the dorsal side. You know already we have seen these pictures. The from both the side, the dorsal root से dorsal nerve is entering and ventral root से ventral nerves are coming out. ये दोनों foramen से निकल जाते हैं and वो join होके they are forming the spinal nerve, and then the spinal nerves supply to the peripheral structure. So these are the spinal nerves at a different level. See, it is actually a continuous structure, but spinal nerves are coming out. Here in this picture it is showing here the spinal nerves from both the from either side of the spinal cord is coming out, and they are coming out through the foramen, giving the appearance of segments of the spinal cord. These are the spinal nerves. Spinal nerves are coming out. Here is the structure showing starting from the medulla oblongata. Here the cervical region. Here's the cervical enlargement. You could see this cervical enlargement here. This is the cauda equina, this portion. Now there are several sulci and fissures are present. Some fissure and sulci are present in the this is the description. I'm showing you the picture so that you could understand clearly. See, here is the first you see the picture. So this is the transverse section of spinal cord. In the transverse section of spinal cord, it is showing some fissure. First you see the fissure and sulcus, then I will discuss about the gray matter, the neural matter of the spinal cord. So at the anterior, this is the anterior surface. This is the posterior surface. The anterior surface, you see a deep furrow is there. A deep furrow is present. This is called anterior median fissure. This furrow is called, anterior median fissure. Okay. Similarly, see at the posterior side, a depression is present. Could you hear me? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so here is a depression called posterior median sulcus. This is a sulcus, so called posterior median sulcus. From the posterior median sulcus, you see a partition. It's a neuroglial partition. This partition is extending up to the gray matter. This is called posterior median septum. This is a glial cell partition. As it's a partition, so it's called posterior median septum. In the anterior side,